In one of the hotels, the five-star hotels just down the street from us. I'm sorry, Khaled, this tear gas is getting to us here. The security is confiscating the cameras of tourists. Of course, for a country that depends so much on tourism, for this sort of heavy-handed tactic to be used against the people who are a major source of income for this country is also a worrying development, to say the least. The internet has been cut. Cell phones have been cut. You can't send an SMS. The only way to communicate is via landline. At about 1 o'clock local time, the crew, Mary Rogers, Tommy Evans, and I were right off Tahrir Square when we were between a group of protesters and a very large group of policemen, plainclothed and otherwise. And those, they sort of, about 12 of them gathered around us, threatening to beat us with their clubs and sticks. And, they wanted to take the camera. We struggled with them to keep the camera, but they broke it. They broke it and then just took it away. Now, I have spoken with the head of the State Information Service, Ismail Khairat, who is a senior Egyptian official, and I said, do you have any comment upon the repeated incidents that we know of journalists being attacked and their equipment broken by the police? And he said, no comment. Here I see, if we go pan back onto the bridge, we can see hundreds of people still trying to get to Tahrir Square. Tahrir, of course, being liberation. Many Egyptians saying they want to be liberated from this government that certainly has shown that it has some very sharp fangs. On the right-hand side of the road down there is what looks like an army vehicle. What we saw just a little while ago were two other army armored personnel carriers full of soldiers. But if the army's been brought into play, that is quite significant. But in the meantime, if we just pan the camera over to the bridge, that's the 6 October bridge, the main bridge coming into the heart of Cairo. What you see is on the right-hand side, hundreds of protesters who've been trying to reach the heart of the city. They're being driven back by an armored personnel carrier that looks like it's just been hit by a Molotov cocktail. You see the fire rising above it, and now the crowd is running through the tear gas going in the direction of that armored personnel carrier. It's been a battle back and forth. Now you see that truck is retreating and another Molotov cocktail being thrown at it. It appears that this is nothing short of a battle in this city between the government and thousands and thousands of unhappy Egyptians. I can tell you, I heard what sounded like several live rounds being fired on that bridge in the direction of the protesters. And when live rounds come out, it means that the situation is escalating seriously. It looks like the crowd on this bridge behind me is getting bigger and bigger despite the tear gas that's being fired in some profusion here. Okay, dramatic developments here. What you're seeing is dozens of trucks full of riot police seem to be leaving the heart of the city. There are 3 army armored personnel carriers with turrets on top that have moved in front of the Ministry of Information and the television building. It's not at all clear what is happening, but it appears they're pulling the riot police out of the lines of confrontation in the middle of the city. Okay, what you're seeing is the riot police are slowly moving back. The demonstrators are moving forward. What's interesting, there's a soldier amongst the demonstrators. He's not stopping anybody, but nobody's harassing him. The soldiers are trying to calm the crowd down, but the crowd is just moving forward. Can't make out what they're chanting, but they're moving forward. We haven't... Oh, Korea, freedom, and that's what they're chanting. And they're moving toward the Ministry of Information. Now the police are firing tear gas back at them, but the protesters are throwing rocks, and they don't seem to be driven back by that.